What's going on, guys? This is Miyasin and welcome to the Cyber Dragon OTK testing video. So, of course, let's try to aim 1,000 likes on this video. It would be so nice, man. The more likes I get, the more motivated I will be to keep making Cyber Dragon videos in general, and stuff that'll make you happy, because when you're happy, I'm always gonna be happy. I mean, you know me, he. And yeah, also subscribe, blah blah blah. Alright, now let's get into it. So, replay number 1, I think I'm going first or second. I never choose to go first, so this guy made me go first, but it's fine because I'm good at the game and I have core machine dupe, which is really skillful, by the way. Unfortunately, I do not play overflow, which is kind of a mistake, but at the same time, since I'm never supposed to go first on a game 1 anyways, I guess it kind of made sense, and I'm not playing Dragoon either, so this Anaconda is really not that threatening, and yeah, I'm just going to get some resources back with Rampage. So I have pretty much an OTK follow-up for next turn, so if my opponent doesn't do something drastic, he's gonna die, and I also have the Infinity to negate him, which is pretty nice. At this point, the Grand Mold basically just doesn't really do jack shit. Actually, no, it's pretty good. It baits my Infinity, but on battle phase, so this Neos Fusion, it's not the most intimidating thing in the world. Yeah, I'm gonna lose all my monsters, but now all you have is just a vanilla monster. Well, I mean, it's a 4,500 attack, 3,000 defense, big boy that can't be destroyed by battle once. But I mean, well, so you think I care? Of course not. I'm still gonna kill him, obviously. I mean, it's Cyber Dragons. What were you expecting, my guy? Alright, yeah, so discard next Hurts, next year's effect, Chaining Quenching 2, revive back Nova. At this point, I'm going to be making my second Infinity. Now, this is the reason why I play 2 Infinity and 1 Nova, is because of the Graveyard effect of Nexter. You're not really making 2 rank 5s in one game, but you can make multiple Infinities by using the exact same Nova. And it's better to revive back a Nova and then make an Infinity than to revive back an Infinity and have to rely on the absorbing effect, if you can understand what I'm trying to say. But if you've played Cyber Dragons, this should be clear enough. And yeah, my opponent is basically just dead. I mean, 6,300 attack Rampage that can attack thrice. Look at how sophisticated I am with my vocabulary. I'm pretty good, I know. Anyways, let's get into replay number 2. Okay, so I think this guy is going first. Yeah, he's just passing turn. But he has Torrential Tribute and Drool and Logbird, which is honestly pretty good. At this point, I'm gonna get drooled, so I'm like, I can still kill you if that back row is garbage. Like, Called by the Grave, for example, but it's like not garbage. It's like probably one of the better cards he could have had, so I pretty much have to pass turn on one back row. And I did not side deck against him. This was a best out of 3, so I still had the Mystic Mine that didn't do jack. Hold on, do I main deck Mystic Mine? I actually forgot because my short-term memory is really bad, unlike elephants. I should actually try to become an elephant. And yeah, I mean, he's going to shuffle back my graveyard into my deck and actually believe that he can kill me, which is actually extremely hilarious, LMAO. I'm just going to be able to survive by halving the attack of his Rainbow Neos. And yeah, he passes turn with 0 interruptions, and next turn is basically Merry Christmas to the Dome. Oh, and by the way, fun fact, this Harpy's Feather Duster top deck was actually much better than you might think it was, because now I have a Speller Trap discard for Chimera, so I can search that Power Bond, and obviously with the Seeger, I'm going to be able to deal approximately a lot of damage, because this Rampage is going to be 63, which again can attack Thrice. Yeah. So yeah, attack on Scarab is going to be 58. Holy mac and cheese, and oh, you're dead. Merry Christmas. Let's get into the next one. Wow, Yasin, you just keep playing against non-meta decks. I mean, hey, it's EDO Pro, I can't really control it. I could play on Dueling Book and have like 5 non-meta decks in a row. To be fair though, a lot of those decks, they have the potential to top YCSs. It's just that the majority of the people who play them are not really that great. But Lair of Darkness Control almost topped a YCS back in 2018 YCS Toronto, and by almost, I don't mean, oh, the guy got unlucky like by losing the final round in the bubble, because it wasn't really that. It was, he had the record to top the YCS, it's just the tiebreakers weren't as great. I think he got like 34th place or something, but purely off of tiebreakers. Like, some people who topped the YCS had the exact same amount of wins, losses, draws as he did. So it was truly bad luck tiebreaker-wise, which is pretty, which is pretty crazy. So Lair of Darkness is definitely a really good deck in the good hands, but the majority of the hands are just not great, but yeah. Anyways, next one. I mean, same thing for Plunder Patrol, right? Everybody thinks that the deck sucks, and then you're gonna see one guy maybe eventually in 2022 or 2023, let's not be too optimistic, who might actually top the YCS with the deck, and then everybody's gonna jump on the bandwagon. So this is actually what my homie Team King of Games mentioned mentioned in one of his, actually in one of his comments on one of my posts, he said like, yeah, every deck starts out by being rogue and really interesting, and then there's like one guy who tops it, and then all of a sudden the deck is broken, even though it didn't really get any better. It's just people jump on the bandwagon, and yeah, I mean, it's really sad, but it's just, I guess, the way it is, in a way. Not really, I wish it wasn't the case, but yeah, it's really unfortunate. Cyber Dragons, really, to me, it was for me, it was the exact same thing. It was just the majority of people, they were playing Cyber Dragons in, like, the most incorrect way imaginable, and then, you know, they were wondering why they couldn't actually do really well. But, I mean, it makes sense when your deck is just not built in a competitively correct manner, and then when you obviously do complain, you complain because you bricked, and yeah, because of things that apparently you don't control. But it's just all the bricks, I feel like you do control them, because it's always like, oh, I drew 3 Cyber Dragon, 3 Machine Dupe, and yeah, just a bunch of weird cards. Yeah, Cyber Dragon is that kind of deck that is so ridiculously tricky to build, but if you can build the deck really well, you're going to be heavily rewarded, honestly. And that showed for me with my my tops, but yeah. Anyways, let's get into the next one. Yeah, I mean, Crawler, that's basically Guru 2.0, right? It's like a better version of Subterror. Well, yeah, except that no. Actually, there's also something that I would like to say while I'm on the narrative. Well, I'm actually, I don't even know if I can actually say that. Well, while I'm narrating this, while I'm narrating this, I would like to say that sometimes people say, oh yeah, but what if you played against meta with the hand that I have? Well, first of all, can you try to imagine yourself what it would actually be? Because the majority of the time, it's practically the same thing. It's just that it's a matter of, do you have enough cards to counter your opponent's counters to you? And if you don't, well, you're just gonna die, because the deck doesn't have a crazy stamina where you can survive for several turns and then eventually win the game. So if your opponent is playing like Dragon Link, and your hand isn't good enough to play against whatever 3 interruptions, well, you're going to die, because you can't just set up 5 negates and say like, yeah, well, I'm not scared of you, come at me. That doesn't really work like that. So yeah, it's just definitely a matter of having the right hands and not necessarily having the, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but yeah. Anyways, again, next one. I love how I'm actually doing everything except commenting on the actual games that are going on. And the reason for that is because there's honestly nothing to commentate over. And the majority of the games are extremely self-explanatory and linear. I'm barely doing anything. I'm just summoning a bunch of monsters, usually less than 5 in order to OTK, and when I am summoning more than 5, it's because Infinity is summoned really early, to a point where even if I get Nibiru, it's fine, because I'm still going to kill him with Power Bond. So yeah, nothing scares me, literally. 6,300 attack Rampage that can attack thrice, like really? Levineer on top of that, like the insult to injury. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's already dead. This was so much damage, Jesus. Anyways, next one. Oh my god. On paper, it looks like this guy bricked, but trust me, he literally didn't. This is actually such a freaking good hand. It actually makes no sense. You can draw, what, like 2 cards with this Skull Servant? 2, 3? Oh my, it's gonna be so nasty. So if he draws the Dark Magical Circle, which he does because he's good at the game, it's not luck, it's skill. It's skill when you draw exactly what you want. Yeah, I literally could not do anything there. I think my card just got banished, and was I able to do anything? I mean, he has Dragoon. Him randomly banishing super early was kind of a good thing for me, because I can still resolve Machine Dupe. And I think he no longer... Oh yeah, no, he still has the Dragoon negate, so he has to negate the Machine Dupe. And at this point, I felt like I would be okay, because I can summon a gigantic power, Rampage. But actually, no, because I lacked that... Actually, yeah, no. Yeah, sorry. I could. So, I have a Rampage with 6,300 attack, so I can definitely jump over a Dragoon, even if it's boosted by 1 Apprentice, but the mother fricker opened 3 Apprentice in the opening hand. That's stupid. So obviously I lose, and yeah, Cyber Eternity is just a joke. I obviously can't do anything, obviously. The Dark Magician deck, it's that kind of deck where it's easy to say, oh yeah, it's a really good deck, it's better than the majority of the other control decks, but that's kind of like a very biased argument, because you're usually breaking the majority of the time with Dark Magicians. You have huge problems going second, and also you need good hands to be able to have that grind game, so it's definitely not one of the most optimal control decks out there. Unfortunately, there's a reason why people are playing Eldritch and those other decks instead, but yeah, in a in the future, we could definitely see Dark Magician being tier 1. It honestly would make sense to me because there's not that much that you really need to add to the deck to make it really, really good. Just maybe remove the dependency to the bad cards. Like, make it so maybe playing less Apprentice, less garbage cards would actually make the deck better instead of worse. But yeah, anyways, let's get into the next one. Alright, so this time I made him go first again, since obviously I lost game 1. His hand is the crack, obviously. Fortunately, I don't play any hand traps, so this Tactic Talents will not be doing jack shit. I really don't recommend playing hand traps when you can play cards like Lightning Storm, Forbidden Drop, and stuff like that. It really doesn't make any sense, because everybody and their mother are playing Millenniumize Restrict with Instant Fusion, Called by the Grave, Tactic Talents. Yeah, hand traps are not doing anything, like, ever. This guy is now negating my Lightning Storm that won't even bait a negate, which is funny. Because the thing is, I'm destroying 2 monsters which are kind of irrelevant. The Dragoon wouldn't even die, so I don't know why he negated that. The Droll and Logbird didn't really do anything at all, now that I think of it. I can Infinity Absorb his Dark Magicians. What's the name? The Dark Magicians, yeah. And then Seeger, jump over because he's at 42. Infinity Attack, he's on top deck mode. I could have Contact Fused myself if I was scared of him, but obviously he's good at the game, better than me. He top decks the broken card, so yeah, it really could have been a loss for me. Definitely, actually no, even if he was able to Contact Fuse into Dragoon, he wouldn't have a negate, so I would be able to win next turn. So yeah, I definitely had it. Let's get into the next one. One really important thing that I want to add is the fact that sometimes the correct mentality to have, and by sometimes I mean the majority of the time, the correct mentality to have when you're playing against your opponent, and I said against your opponent, is figuring out all the ways to lose instead of figuring out all the ways to win, because it's easy to try to win a game. You just do it inherently naturally. It should be second nature, whereas trying to find all the ways to lose would be like, I can actually mess up really, really bad if I do this, for example, so let's try to avoid doing this. However, if I avoid doing this, I would have to do that instead, which could also be scary. So you have to think about all the negative aspects instead of just saying, well, if I do this combo, I'm going to generate the most amount of advantage, so it has to be the best one. Well, no. Sometimes making yourself lose advantage is the correct way to go. For example, last game, I could have Contact Fused myself into the Mega Fleet because I would have been scared of him Contact Fusing with my monsters, so that would have given him a 2400 attack monster over me having a 2400 attack monster, and I couldn't have, you know, absorbed my own Seeger because I already used the effect of Infinity that turn, which was kind of unfortunate, but yeah. Anyways, let's get into the, I believe, what should be the final replay. Final replay indeed, and he's playing, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's actually a good deck, though, to be honest. It is a good deck, it's just the way he built it, I mean, the thing is, okay, no, okay, no, it's good. It's actually kind of, well, it's not like he played bad cards in his opening hand. It's just, this almost feels like going second or bust. So if this deck is forced to go first, it doesn't make too many interruptions, but still, you can argue that 2 interruptions is usually enough to not die, and 3 interruptions is usually enough to stop your opponent, whereas 4 plus interruptions is considered unbreakable boards, quote-unquote. It's just that over the years, standards have, standards are just no longer the same. Now you can make 11 negates and people are going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry for you, my condolences, you bricked, blah blah blah. It's just people are full of shit, but yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this Cyber Dragon testing video. I really hope you guys were able to enjoy and learn a thing or two. If you did, make sure you smash that living pancake out of the like and subscribe button as well. Would definitely make me really happy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace!